Welcome to the Book of Life, a show about Jewish books, music, film, and web. I'm Heidi Estrin. In this second episode of interviews from the Book Expo America conference, we'll hear about Jewish books for older kids and teens. In addition to hearing from publishers about their upcoming titles, we've got an interview with Kidlit blogger Barbara Bates and an extended conversation with author Maggie Anton. Maggie is the author of the Rashi's Daughter series and is now trying her hand at writing for a younger audience. Upcoming podcasts in the Book Expo series will cover Jewish books for adults and books for all ages about the Holocaust. Let me know what you think of this series and whether you think I should do it again next year by posting a comment at bookoflifepodcast.com or by emailing me at bookoflifepodcast@gmail.com. Now, back to the expo.
This is Barbara Bates, and my book blog is barbarabbookblog.blogspot.com. The blog is dedicated to Jewish literature for children. I do a lot of interviews with children's book authors, and we talk about events that are coming up in my community or other communities. My goal was to create an online community for those who are passionate about Jewish literature for kids, whether it's authors, librarians, parents, readers. And my goal was to try to help bring us all together in one spot. I also think it's really important that we promote the books that we love and the authors that write them.
How do you select what authors you're going to feature?
If I find a book that I love, I will track down the author. Sometimes I'll go to a conference and I'll meet someone that I think is just terrific that I want to feature. And very often I'm contacted by authors, and that's a treat for me because it means they know that I'm out there and I'm doing my part for them and really for all of us.
How long have you been blogging?
I've been blogging for, I think it's been about a year and a half now. I went to an SCBWI conference where we kind of learned about the process, and it has been such a delight because I've connected with people that I never would have had the chance to get to know.
Now, you got into Book Expo today as press. Is that because of being a blogger?
It's partly for being a blogger, and I also do a book column on a website, familiesonlinemagazine.com, and that is not a Jewish column. It's meant for parents who are looking for good books for their kids, and also for blogging. As I was signing up for my press pass, I noticed that Book Expo had a little notation that we love bloggers and you're welcome to come. So I think we're doing a lot for the book world.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Barbara.
Okay. That was fun.
My name is Colleen McMillan. I'm the Associate Publisher of Annick Press. We're the publishers of The Apprentice's Masterpiece, A Story of Medieval Spain by Melanie Little. My colleague Rick Wilkes and I talked about the idea of publishing a book about the Spanish Inquisition because we felt very strongly that it was important for teens to draw the parallels between the intolerance that took place during the Inquisition and what is happening in our contemporary world. And so we approached a really wonderful young writer who we had worked with before by the name of Melanie Little and asked her if she would be interested in the project. And she did an enormous amount of research. She traveled to Spain. She went to Cordoba, to Granada, to Toledo. She got a sense of the atmosphere, the influence of the Moorish culture and the Jewish culture that existed there when the three religions, Muslims, Jews, and Christians, lived respectfully. Not necessarily harmoniously, but respectfully. And then all of that, of course, fell apart with Queen Isabella and the driving out of the Muslims and the Jews at the time of the Inquisition in the 15th century. So this is a story of Ramon and Amir. Ramon is a converso, a young scribe, an apprentice scribe. His family has converted from Judaism to Christianity because the temper of the times is changing. His father brings in a young Muslim boy by the name of Amir. And Amir and Ramon live as a family, and certain tensions develop between them. The end of the story brings the two boys back together in a heart-stopping scene, but it really reveals just how oppressive the times were and how the lives of two young boys were dramatically and permanently affected by the Inquisition.
Hi there. I'm Lauren Wall, the Associate Publisher at Roaring Brook Press, and proud that we're publishing a second book about Penina Levine and her family. Penina Levine is not a potato pancake. It is a Hanukkah story. She is a potato pancake. Pardon me. She was not a hard-boiled egg. She was not a hard-boiled egg, but she is a potato pancake. It is a story about a Hanukkah that she is not anticipating happily. Everybody else is. She's the only one who thinks it's going to be a crappy Hanukkah. And things happen to all of her friends, her teacher, her sister, even the sister that annoys her. And she's to fix it and make Hanukkah happen, and she does, and it's a beautiful, happy holiday. She's a real girl. She's a spunky, often angry at the world little girl, but Hanukkah smooths things over. It's a lovely book. Rebecca O'Connell is the author.
I'm Judy Groner, the editorial director of Carben Publishing, which is now part of Lerner Books in Minneapolis.
Tell us about the Bat-Fen Diaries.
Well, our focus this spring and somewhat into the fall has been books on Israel because of the 60th anniversary. One of them, for a little older group that Carben usually publishes for, is the Bat-Fen Diaries. This is an English translation of a book that's been out for a while in Hebrew and Arabic and translated into several European languages and even Japanese. Bat-Fen was 15. It was her 15th birthday, actually, 12 years ago when she was killed along with two of her girlfriends on Purim in Dizengoff Square in Tel Aviv. After her death, her parents collected some diaries that she had been keeping along with poems and tributes. She used to write birthday letters to her family. She wrote eulogies for her grandparents. A very powerful letter in the book is one she wrote to Leah Rabin after Rabin was assassinated. There are also some excerpts from letters that she wrote to Arab pen pals she had from a neighboring Palestinian village. Her parents are going to be here in the fall. Her mother has done a PhD thesis, actually, on journaling, and she does classes in how to use Bat-Fen's diary and other diaries in learning how to journal. Our other Israel books include, we have Barbara Sofer's book, Keeping Israel Safe, which is also for preteens like Bat-Fen, about the Israel Army, one of the only books that we know of that's ever been written about the Israel Army.
Okay. Excellent.
Hi, this is Jean Feiwel. I'm the publisher at Feiwel & Friends, and I'm excited to talk about Karen Hess's new novel called Brooklyn Bridge, which is a historical novel that takes place in 1905 about an immigrant family that has come to Brooklyn, and they have an immediate success with the teddy bear that they discover and decide to produce. It's a story of their success and Joseph's dealing with their success, and a little bit about Coney Island, and it has an element of magical realism. So alongside of the authentic history, there's something a little bit magic that happens.
Very cool. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kate Truergy. I'm the publicist for Jewish Lights. Really interested to tell you about The Adventures of Rabbi Harvey. We are coming out with the sequel to The Adventures of Rabbi Harvey, which came out last year. And it's Rabbi Harvey Rides Again by Steve Schenken. He will be doing a ton of school visits promoting the book. He'll be attending the AJL convention. He's also going to be writing a column on jbooks.com, as in he's Rabbi Harvey. So Rabbi Harvey will be reviewing books.
Advice from Rabbi Harvey?
Yeah, advice from Rabbi Harvey.
Like advice for the lovelorn or what?
Yeah, really. Which is interesting you mention that, because in Rabbi Harvey Rides Again, Rabbi Harvey actually gets a girlfriend of sorts, which we were all wondering, what's Rabbi Harvey going to do? So you'll have to check it out. JewishLights.com has all the information, and RabbiHarvey.com as well has various excerpts posted there. And it's our first graphic novel, which we know are getting incredibly popular.
Right.
So that's the scoop.
Okay, great. And I just want to say for anybody who doesn't already know Rabbi Harvey that this is set in the Wild West. Yes,
I know,
he's sort of a
of all
cowboy
places.
rabbi.
Exactly, he is a cowboy rabbi. And, he just goes around the Wild West, keeping outlaws at bay and giving little bits of Talmudic advice. So it's really entertaining, and the illustrations are fabulous. You have to check it out.
This is Maggie Anton. I'm the author of the Rashi's Daughters trilogy. Book 1 came in the Yoheved out in 2005 for Rashi's 900th yahrzeit. Book 2 in 2007. Book 2 is Miriam. And eventually in 2009 will be the conclusion, Rachel. But in the meantime, I was approached by JPS, Jewish Publication Society, to do a YA version of Yoheved, because for those of you who have read book 1 of the adult series, it is very much an adult book.
Right.
Yet it is a coming-of-age story. The book starts when the character's 11, it ends when she's 18, and educators and rabbis thought there was really an empty hole in the historical fiction for children for the Middle Ages. So they approached me to do what I thought would be a simple job of adapting Yoheved into a YA novel.
But it wasn't so simple. You said it like maybe it was harder than you thought.
It was harder than I thought. I had originally figured I would just stop at the wedding, no wedding night, and then tack on the last chapter for the nice fuzzy ending. But of course, there's all kinds of things that happen in the earlier chapters that set up things that happen in the last third of the book. And so I had to get rid of all those setups. And the sub-characters who show up in the later part of the book, I had to erase them entirely. But sometimes I still needed a character to serve that purpose. So then I had to choose somebody else. So it was more work than I thought.
So it wasn't really just a matter of taking out the naughty bits, as they say in Monty Python.
Right.
It was almost rewriting a whole new story.
Yes, and I added at the beginning a prequel. I didn't want someone to open up Secret Scholar. Rashi's Daughter's Secret Scholar is the title. I didn't want them to open up and see the exact same opening lines as in Yoheved. And so I started it a year earlier in the life of Rashi's family. I actually had a scene that I had written for book 1 that I was going to use as a flashback, and then it just never happened. And so I was then able to utilize that scene.
Is this going to be a series in terms of the kids' books? Are you going to write for Miriam and Rachel?
No. Miriam and Rachel are not going to get a YA version, or at least there's no plan on it. I don't want to say never, but that's not my goal. I do have in my mind that there's going to be another Jewish women's historical novel, but it's not Rashi's granddaughters. That's not
not
on.
going to be a whole family saga.
No,
that's actually been done. Have you read My Guardian Angel?
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that's Rashi's granddaughter.
Right, and actually I know Sylvie Wilde, who's the author of that,
right.
And the two of us did our research, did everything independently, and then found each other after we were both published. And it was amazing, the coincidences in our books. Both of us made Miriam a midwife, even though there's no evidence whatsoever that she was one. We both made Yoheved in my year to be the loving couple, and a little more tension between Miriam and Judah. And we both had Rashi actively teaching the daughters. We didn't have them just like listening at the door. We both had them writing responsa for him, helping him with his work, when we don't necessarily know that they did that. Book 3 actually covers the same time period of Guardian Angel, when the Crusades are happening. And Sylvia and I are friends, and I thought, I'm not going to contradict anything she said.
Right. You made it consistent with the world she created.
I read it yes, exactly.
Readers who read both will feel like it's one world.
Right. And in some way, Guardian Angel is almost a YA version. It's like it'll be like almost a companion to book 3.
Right.
But Guardian Angel, it's a trilogy.
Right. But I know that it was a trilogy in France, and it's only the first one, right, that's come out in English.
Yes, but
right?
JPS is doing.
Oh, good. So they're going to bring the sequels.
They're going to bring the sequels.
English?
Sylvie is writing the translation herself.
Good.
Which is why it's taking so long.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
the
in a way,
first one was Scholastic, though.
Yeah, and Scholastic did not.
They didn't want to keep
They
going.
didn't pick up the series.
Huh.
Yeah, I learned a lot about publishing from Sylvie's trials and tribulations, which actually turned out to be a good thing that I needed to know in terms of negotiating with Penguin, because they were buying book 2 and there's the yet unwritten book 3.
Well, who was your publisher for book 1?
Book 1, it was myself.
It was self-published. Okay.
My husband and I started Benote Press. I was determined that book 1 was going to come out in time for Rashi's 900th yard sale, which was July 2005. And towards the end of 2004, when my agent had not found a buyer, I decided, that's it. We're running out of time. I want this out for Rashi's 900th yard site. I thought there was going to be huge hoopla in the Jewish world commemorating Rashi's yard site. I wanted to be part of it. As it turns out, I was the hoopla.
Right. Oh, that's good. Then at least there was something.
Right. So at least there was something. France put out a €0.50 stamp. Thank you very much. Commemorating Rashi. My stealth reason for writing Rashi's Daughters, not so stealth because I'm telling you, is to get more women to study Torah, to study Talmud. The sugya of Talmud, Rashi's learning that is really in the book, is supposed to whet their appetite. It's supposed to make them go to their rabbis or their educators and say, I want to learn more of this stuff. And I really hope the YA version, because this is going to be hitting kids. They're in Jewish day school. Right. They're about to go into Jewish high school where they could take Talmud if they want. And so I'm really hoping that this will just open the door a crack to girls who might never have thought to study this, that they should. That's my goal.
Very cool.
Thank you.
No, that's great.
I schlepped up and down every aisle at Book Expo, but I'm sure I still missed a few Jewish books. If you know about other brand new or forthcoming titles that you didn't hear about in today's episode, please post a comment on our website at bookoflifepodcast.com or email me at bookoflifepodcast@gmail.com. The Book of Life is supported in part by the Association of Jewish Libraries, tending the tree of knowledge and promoting Jewish reading by supporting Judaic libraries and librarians. Visit them on the web at jewishlibraries.org. Our background music is provided by the Freilach Makers Klezmer String Band from Sacramento, California, whose CDs feature upbeat music from Ashkenazic and Sephardic traditions with Brazilian, Gypsy, and Celtic influences. Borrow their CDs at the Feldman Library or buy your own copies at freilachmakers.com. To download episodes of the Book of Life podcast, visit us on the web at bookoflifepodcast.com. Links to the books mentioned on the show are available on this website. You can also hear the latest episode by phone. Just call 916-313-3820. Thanks for listening and happy reading.